is pretty nice in this. Oh, doing a video. Hello everyone, this is Steve on 2004, and guess what? I'm in a ranting mood. Now then, let me tell you all a little story. In 2008, I made what could very well be my most controversial rant ever, right under Sonic Passion. In it contained a very large portion of me ranting on the infamous Rule 34 and how it ruined our childhoods regarding anthropomorphic characters. I didn't realize that I was bashing on furry porn itself, and not the furry fandom. Well, after doing some extensive research, I discovered something far worse than furry porn, and tonight, I'm going to return to the rant on furries. And I promise you, after tonight, what I say will open the eyes of every single one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm T-Bone 2004, and tonight we're going back to the rant known as those fucking furries. Enjoy. Now, let's begin with the basics and understand what this rant is really about. What is a furry? Well, my old rant gave a very bleak outlook, and now I can tell you what a furry really is. A furry is a person who believes himself to be somewhere in their heart an animal of some trait. Mostly this depends on the person's personality. If you're brave and courageous, you might be a dragon. If you're timid and nervous, you might be a meerkat. If you're horny as hell and looking for a good time, well, you might be the obvious. But is this why we're here? To talk about furries in general? Hell no. We're going to be talking about the most bizarre, twisted, and overall completely fucked up furries out there. Now keep in mind, I'm going to retain a lot from the old rant and combine it with what I've got now. So with that, let's begin with the most obvious. As I said before, Sonic the Hedgehog is without a doubt one of the key reasons why the furry fandom exists. Some may say that Rouge the Bat, Sally Acorn, or Bunny Rabbit could have been the driving force to turn people furry. But you'd be wrong. It took only one little two-tailed fox named Miles Tails Prower to make many innocent children and teenagers into furries. Mostly foxes at that. And what could possibly be brought out upon us because of all these things? I'll tell you what's been brought out. Two things. Yiff art and shitty recolors. Now, I will admit, I don't mind someone actually drawing something along those lines, or having an obsession of tails, or even having a silly little crush. That I can understand. But here's my biggest gripe. Sex fantasies, drawing porn of your fursona with him. Here's where the logic comes in. Let's do this kind of like most people did with Guptil 89. He is still a child. And second of all, I doubt he'd want to engage in any kind of sexual activity with most of these guys. And I say these guys to a major extent, because most of these furries are homosexuals and have homosexual tendencies for him. I'm serious. You could look on furaffinity.net and you'll have a motherload of tails porn featuring almost everyone's fursona. Which ironically leads me into my next part of this rant. Furaffinity is known for one thing and one thing only. It's a plethora of obsessed furries who think of it as Facebook for furries when its main purpose is to showcase great furry art and maybe mention a furcon here and there. Because of this, when the site goes down for maintenance, this is the typical reaction. And forgive me for repetition, but by now this is the best example. Now, here's my thoughts. A site goes down, find something to do. Break out the game consoles and play, watch a movie, or for most of you furries who have mates, grab her or him and have yourself a little fun. You don't need to be tethered to a site, and don't give me this shit, if I hit F5 enough it'll come back. fuck you. I've done it before to fanfiction.net, YouTube, among many other sites, and guess what? It doesn't work. And unlike most furries, I don't get on the message boards and rage for hours on end. Oh, and that's another point I want to address. Furries who rage about furfinity when it goes down on the boards. Anytime some big update is made and some sacrifice has to be made, say for instance the cub art ban, these people will flip their shit over nothing and post extensive journals of them raging about it. And this time, I just have to look back on that Fur Affinity forums rant I did, and I come to discover most people on Fur Affinity forums have been bitching about me ranting on this. It just goes to show that they just can't take the truth. They just can't. Overall, furries raging about FA is getting very pointless, and I see no reason for it, especially when there's a furry convention going on, and then they think, oh shit, I need to check FA sometime. Maybe something's happened. Listen, guys, the site will be back when you get home. Don't think you're going to come back home from a furry convention and discover FA is down. As Dragoneer would say, this will not be another August Gate. And if you want to know how I know all this stuff, 2 reasons. 1, I heard about it on Encyclopedia Dramatica, and 2, by the end of the rant, you'll understand. And now that I've said my piece about FA, let's move on to the next subject. Do you remember what I said about the 2 major rules about furries? I'm sure you do, and if you don't, here's the clip again. Now I bet you're going to ask me, how do you know about this? It's because of 2 major rules about furries. Rule 34. If it exists, there's hentai of it. Rule 36. If it exists, someone has a fetish of it. These 2 combined set the stage for a total fucking disaster. You can name just about anything that has a furry character in it, and there will most definitely be hentai of it. Don't believe me? Get on furaffinity.net right now, type in furry, and see how much hentai you get. And speaking of fetishes, let's talk about something that a lot of furry fans love choking one off to. One of the most sickest, most disturbing, and most disgusting fetish I could ever imagine. That's right, folks. Vor fetish. And you probably know what this is. You ever see one of those cartoons where a little furry character gets eaten alive by the bigger character? Well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's the best example. Remember this scene from An American Tail? Now, I'm sure most of you furries out there who are Vor fans were expecting to see the clips from An American Tail where Fievel actually gets eaten alive. You sick bastards. You really thought I was going to show them again, weren't you? Nope. What I want to tell you right now is, what I said before about Vor fetish in the old video, that still applies. But I found some sicker fetishes than that. Water sports, scat fetish, unbirthing, you know, all that good stuff. Seriously, what in the fuck is wrong with these people? That has got to be some of the sickest shit I have ever heard of. Yes, even worse than 2 Girls 1 Cup and Kids in the Sandbox. But to me, the most fucked up fetish of all time is none other than diaper fetish. Seriously, wearing a fucking diaper. Most furries actually enjoy this fetish and even go so far as to actually use the diaper like they were babies. And don't bring up a knothole resident, because that is just ultimate godlike fail. I want to say this right here and right now. First of all, that is sick and wrong. Second, if you think this is supposed to be sexy, seek help now. But get this. There are most people who actually draw your favorite cartoon characters in diapers. I'm not kidding. Some fur artists have actually done this. I don't know why, but they do. I mean, seriously, I've seen Jenna from Balto in a diaper. And she's an anthroform, mind you. You know, after seeing that, I can never, ever look at Balto the same way again. And if you want to see this horror, just look it up on DeviantArt. I may post a link to it. But I warn you, it's wrong on every level. If an artist gets their kicks from it, that's highly understandable. but a full-grown anthro? Come on!
Whoever the fuck made that shit needs to go blow their fucking brains out!
Oh, and speaking of Balto, that brings up another interesting point. Apparently, a long time ago, some obsessed fangirl of Balto became so obsessed over Jenna to the point that she actually started threatening her family member's life. I'm not kidding, this is a real story. There's videos of this on YouTube. This girl threatens her father's life because of the fear of Jenna breaking up with Balto. First of all, Balto is Jenna's mate. They have puppies together. I want to tell you right now, if you can call that extremely obsessed, that is a major understatement. Because to me, that's just horrible. Beyond any comprehension whatsoever. And to the father whom she threatened, sir, let me offer you a word of advice in the forms of Encyclopedia Dramatica. I think you need to grab the belt, put on the goofy hat, and give her a good dose of goofy time. But you know what? Memes aside, if you think that's fucked up, oh, just you wait. There's more. Now, I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with the show Judge Mathis, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I've actually seen an episode that actually out-whores all the other drama whores on that show. You see, a while ago, I saw a rerun of it, and I saw a bunch of furries bitching and moaning about their financial issues. Seriously, suing your roommate over a wrecked car and a trashed apartment. And, because everyone's seen this episode and knows who this guy is, Dive Fox has officially become internet famous. In fact, I have even christened him the title Biggest Asshat of the last 20 years. I say forget Maury. I say forget Victoria, forget Chris Chan, forget a knothole resident, and even going so far to say forget Alex Henriel. If you're going to go on national TV and whine, bitch, and moan about meaningless bullshit, then congratulations. You're the key example as to why our society is lacking logic. Case in point, if you need to settle a dispute like financial problems, keep it on the down low. Don't bring it on TV. Besides, don't you know ED is watching you? And once again, if you're going to ask how I know all this, all will be revealed by the end of this video, so fear not. But now, I'd like to go back to another part of the old rant and relive a classic moment. If you will allow me to play the audio, I will be more than happy to share this with you. But now, we've come to the part that everyone knows is going to be the kicker. That's right, folks. The moment we've all been waiting for. Video game furries. Now let me begin with one that just makes me want to cry in misery. Star Fox. For you Fox McCloud fans, I suggest you stop the video right now unless you want to hear the frightening story. You have been warned. Recently, I've discovered Star Fox hentai. As sad as this is, it exists. Now, for those of you who saw this coming, be aware that it's not just Fox/Crystal. Believe me, it goes beyond that. Fox/Falco? Fox/Wolf? It just goes on and on and on. Yaoi hentai, folks. Yaoi furry hentai. And I don't think I need to explain any more on this. I'm sorry, but I don't need to explain anymore. And of course, this next franchise is well known for hentai. Pokemon has been a haven for mass hentai. Almost as big of a hentai fan base as Sonic's. If you have seen what has been showcased on this little known website called agnph.com, you'll find it's not just furry hentai, but also bestiality as well. Come on! It's a Pikachu! How can you find Pikachu sexy? Let alone Raichu or Pichu. This is just getting way, out of hand here, folks. I mean, come on. Not only are these animals, but they're not real. What do you find so sexy about them? Now, as I stated before, if any artist wants to draw these characters in romantic and sometimes sexual situations, I'm alright with that. I have no problem with that. The problem comes in when the pairings start showing up. And never mind crossed pairings, like say for instance Sonic, Rouge, or anything stuff like that. Oh no. We're talking the most bizarre pairings that are so unrealistic that you question if the person who came up with these sort of things left their brain at Anthrocon. I mean, seriously, listen to all these pairings I've heard of. Crystal / Sonic, Jazz Jackrabbit / Coco, Sparkster / Gatomon. I mean, how does this shit work? Well, it's wishful thinking. That's what they'll tell you. But I think I speak for Patch93 when he said, do these fanfucks think this is sexy? Because it's not, and it's destroying our goddamn childhoods. Oh, but you think it's just video game anthros like I said in the original video? Oh no, we're also talking about cartoons and movies. Walt Disney comes to mind when I think about this shit. If you want a good example, look up Rick149, PFX Productions, Hatsley, among many others on YouTube, and you'll see just how many pairings these people have come up with. I mean, seriously. Lady X Duchess. First of all, it's a cat and a dog, and they're both females. How does that work? But aside from the Lion King, Balto, All Dogs Go to Heaven, and all the others like that, here's some other characters that have been put into these bizarre and disturbing relationships. And, like last time, feel free to sing along with me if you want to. You remember how it goes in the rant? Well, let's do this again. Ready? Here we go. Darkwing Duck, Baloo the Bear, Scrooge McDuck, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, Donald Duck, Daisy Duck, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Goofy Max, Simba Stitch, Bambi Thumperflower, Feline, and the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. Ladies and gentlemen, consider your childhoods totally clusterfucked. And I thank you so much, Rick149, PFX Productions, Hatsley, among many others, for making up all these pairings. Thank you. You've ruined it for most every other furry on this planet. And so, seeing as how I revealed so many horrible things about all these furries, these two questions have to be answered. How did I know about all this stuff? And am I prepared for all the backlash that I'm going to receive from all the furries and all the trolls and all that stuff like that? Well, I told everyone that I would be answering it one day. And tonight, all those questions will be answered. And I'm going to say it in a way that was most comfortable for me. As I said in the Fur Affinity forums, yes, I am a furry, as you can tell by my shirt. That's right. And guess what? I've been a furry since 2003, and I've become active in the community since 2008. I'm also a fursuiter. My persona is a rabbit, as you've seen in my commentaries. And, of course, I am married to a wonderful, wonderful woman. And the second question that's on my mind is also, what kind of backlash will I be facing? Well, let me go ahead and say it right now. I don't really care what the backlash is. I'm just here to entertain. And second of all, everything that I have seen, I can never unsee. And anything I've heard, I can never unhear. So, I chose to bring this rant back for one reason and one reason only. It's because of people like these that give the furry fandom a bad name. And it is no wonder why the whole world hates them, especially with that stupid CSI episode at that. I can understand too, because of the stupid shit that's being done. And that's why I'm ranting on it. So in closing, I'm going to leave you with the same words that I said in my last video. And I'm sure most of you remember how it goes. To all those furries who are obsessed with these disgusting, repulsive fetishes, these obsessed furries who are obsessed over these characters who are willing to kill themselves to do these sort of things with them, to do stupid shit on television, to make all these crazy ass pairings and animash videos, I got this to say. You're sick, you're twisted, you need to pull your fingers out of your cunt, loosen the grip on that cock, by the way, guys, and get your asses outside and do something with your lives. I mean, seriously, it will benefit you in the long run. And for all the furry porn, by the way, Like I said before, go watch real porn and compare it to what you're fapping to. See? Logic! Isn't it a beautiful thing? Unfortunately for most of them, they won't listen to me because I'm just a fur fag like all the others. Go figure. I'm T-Bone 2004, and this has been Those Fucking Furries. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got a fur meet I need to get to. What we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be drinking beer and commentating on Sonic Sat AM. You know why? Because that's how real furries rule, motherfucker. And by the way, I forgot my comics. Fred Savage, Soldier of Misfortune. This comic's badass, motherfuckers.